Hello, beautiful people. It says I'm live. Can you tell me that you can see me and hear me? I'm Bonnie Gillespie, and we are going to talk about the void moon today. What is a void moon? Moon void of course. Course, like the course it goes on. Void, meaning just in float time. This is what we're going to be talking about today, and I'm so excited. How y'all doing? Are you enjoying your new moon in Cancer lead up? We're not there yet. We are still in the void moon before the moon goes into Cancer. I'm going to explain all of that today. I'm also going to tell you what you want to avoid doing during void moon, but what you also want to do during void moon that is tapping into a little bit of a superpower. We have some really big void moons coming up here in the next little bit as we are getting to that midpoint between eclipse seasons, and it is a little extra, but we're going to talk about how to use it for our best, most exciting livingness. Have you hugged yourself today? Even if you have, do it again because it feels good. Let me see who's here in the chat. Hello Jackie, hello Deb Marie, hello Kelly, whoop whoop, 100 degrees, honey. Michelle, good to see you. Happy Tuesday, happy Mars Day. Donna, hello, I'm so glad you're here and excited to learn. Yay! Good. Okay, I got that shadow side. Got to get that one. And then the shadow side, the way you don't hug yourself. Hug yourself that way too. We may get an appearance by Mala Beads. He has his latest toy. Did he take it away? Oh, he put it on the other side of his bed. He has a pride flag. Happy Pride. We are still in June, celebrating Pride everywhere. Be visible. Be loved. Be safe. Y'all, the world's a lot. Okay, I have my notes. We are going to dig in on it. I also have, hang on here, did I create a list of things that I want to make sure to get to that I need to cover? I had to go out and vote in our mayoral primary today. Thought I was going to die. Woo, you got us beat 94 in Arizona. Oh God, 100 in New York. Y'all, I'm not even going to tell you what it actually is here because I think you would yell at me. I mean, and with good reason. Okay, I'm going to be sharing my screen a little bit. I've got my list of the steps that we want to do. Yeah, okay, I think all I did was send myself my notes that are just the same as here. Okay, so y'all, here's what's up. The moon has lots of business that she needs to do. She's very busy. She's very busy. The moon is very busy. She moves like 12, 13 degrees a day. And if you're like, that, I don't actually know how to measure whether that's a lot or not a lot, like what's typical. The sun moves about a degree a day, hence the 360 degrees of the chart wheel, but 365 days a year by the man calendar. Don't get me started. The solar calendar that we use for some reason, and then have to have a not a daylight saving time, a leap year every 4 years to make up the difference of all that. But 365 days, 360 degrees. So about a degree a day is what we say the sun moves. It's technically the earth moving around the sun, but we call it the sun. And to give you an example of something like, Pluto, takes Pluto anywhere from 11 to 33 years to go 30 degrees. So that means in some cases a degree a year, as opposed to the moon going 12 to 13 degrees a day. Okay, so the moon's very busy. She travels very quickly. She's just doing these laps around the earth, getting all her business done, going through all 12 signs. So she has a lot of things that she has to do. She has a busy to-do list. She has to go through all sorts of little aspects that she's got to make to other planets. Other planets. She is not a planet, but go with me on the vernacular that we use. She has all these visits that she has to make by angle to different planets out there. She has to conjunct a few things. She has to aspect some things by square. She has to make a trine to some things. She has to make a sextile to some things. She's very busy, has lots of things that she has to check off between moving into one sign and moving out of that same sign and into the next sign of the zodiac. If she gets her to-do list done very quickly, She is in what is called moon void of course, or you may have heard me say void moon. Same thing. Why say void of course when she's on course? She's just done with all her business. She's on void moon status. She's on float time. She's done with all her business, and now she's just floating until she gets to the next sign. And we can track this. And one of the things that we know we can do during a void moon is anything that might need to not get noticed. So I am coming to you during void moon right now. We are in void moon of Gemini before we go into Cancer. That Cancer moon that we're going to get once this void period is over is going to then be our new moon in Cancer, and it's our new moon in Cancer while Jupiter is in Cancer. So it's a very yummy, glitter-filled, sparkly, optimistic new moon. Very excited. I've talked about Jupiter being in Cancer elsewhere. Please make sure you check out all of that conversation because it is a very exciting, delicious, optimistic time. I know, despite all the life be life and stuff, it is incredibly optimistic a time. It is the Beyonce placement for Jupiter. So this new moon in Cancer is going to be especially delicious. When the moon is void, things go unnoticed. Now, void moons didn't modernly become that big a deal. Some people map them out, notice them, mark them up. I tend to, on the Aligned Hustle calendar, which I'll make sure to put a link in the description later in case you would like me to do your calendar for you. In our Aligned Hustle calendar, I note anytime the moon is going to be void for like 8 hours or more, because I'm going to actually show you, like I said, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you the kinds of lengths of time we're talking about. It happens every time the moon changes sign. We change signs with a little void period because that last aspect is done, and then we go into a new sign. And sometimes it's like within a second of that last aspect, we go into the next sign, we being the moon. Sometimes, like right now, we get all that business done, and then we got days before the moon finishes getting all the way across that sign. And when the moon is done with her checklist and just in float time, or void moon, moon void of course, this is a time when things kind of go invisible. It's a time when if we wanted to get something on someone's radar, we are likely to be missed. We are likely to be disregarded, or the big item, the scary thing, the confronting issue is completely glossed over because we're just in float time. Some people call it a mini Mercury retrograde. I don't. The moon and Mercury don't have enough in common energetically for that to be accurate, although I understand it and have probably used at some point the comparison. The way that this became very popular in modern times is thanks to Ronald Reagan, and more specifically, his wife Nancy, who had an astrologer. Nancy's astrologer, Joan Quigley, famous astrologer, famous especially for being the astrologer to the Reagans, while Ronnie was in office, President Reagan. We don't have records that he necessarily was someone that was all that into the astro, all that into the woo, but boy, Nancy sure was. And Nancy regularly consulted her astrologer on behalf of her husband, Ronnie. Now, one of the things that Joan Quigley, astrologer, loved to advise folks to use, not just the Reagans, but folks to use, is the period of void moon as a superpower time for delivering news that may be not so great to hear. Maybe you don't want to stir everything up. It's like the exact opposite of the current Cheeto-in-chief who wants to whip everybody up constantly and is always looking for the most reality show, most dramatic, most attention-getting way to say anything ever. Wants to light the most fires, create the most chaos, so he can then swoop in, that's the word I was looking for, and save the day. When I was doing some casting at the very beginning of my casting career, I remember working with a director and a producer who kept lighting fires so that we would have fires to put out. And that's when I came up with, y'all, drama costs extra. If you are going to create crises so that you can then look like some kind of hero for taking care of the crises, you're going to have to pay me more because drama costs extra. Oh, by the way, I must share. Because, yes, I love this shirt so much. I love this shirt so much. Let me see. Wait, is it by grown? Yes, Dear Grown Ass Women is the maker of the shirt. And I also have this in a frame here right by my studio to remind me I am not for everyone. No one is for everyone. The Ronald Reagan secret weapon of void moons was use this time when bad news kind of gets missed, when drama kind of can't get started. I mean, obviously drama can always get started, but use the void moon to announce things that people normally would get up in arms about, and sometimes quite literally. Share bad news during void moon. Raise your prices during void moon. Do things that could disappoint people during void moon because it's not going to be felt as hard. The moon, who is in charge of getting our needs met, making sure we feel safe, taking care of all those needs, and making sure we feel safe, can sometimes be an incredibly sensitive task. And when we are receiving news that ain't so great under a void moon, it doesn't feel as threatening. It doesn't feel as scary. It doesn't feel as that big a deal. Now, that means you probably wouldn't want to use void moons for things like promoting something, suggesting that people get excited about a thing, announcing something that you want a party to be thrown around, because it's going to get ignored. It's going to be unnoticed. And if you've ever sent stuff out thinking, okay, I'm so excited, this is going to be a great promotion, you do it under a Leo moon because you know Leo moon is great for promotion, and crickets. It's likely that you waited until late enough into the Leo moon that the moon had gone void, of course, and that means the information went unnoticed, even though it was a Leo moon. So, I say this under a current Leo moon because the Aligned Hustle calendar that I create marks off every time there is a void moon of 8 hours or more, because those are the ones that get a lot of traction and significantly could mess with your day. Could mess with your day, could also make your day. Like if you're looking for a little vacation time, you're looking for little pockets of just relax, of chill, of joy, of, oh, could I just get a breather? Those void moons are perfect for that, and people don't freak out about it. Ronald Reagan was known as the Teflon president. He was the Teflon president because he could say anything. He would schedule these press conferences or go in front of the press corps, have these meetings in which he had assembled people to share horrific news. And people would write about how presidential he looked, how healthy he looked, how great he's doing, how he just so inspired everyone. And you're like, he just said that we bombed such and such and that we did it for an exchange of arms. We're not going to get upset about that? No, because he said it during void moon, because he never scheduled something that could be scheduled without checking with Nancy, aka Nancy's astrologer, Joan Quigley. So these void moons became a superpower of his delivery of news. Did y'all know this? Is this information new to you? Let me check the chat for a sec. Yes. Excellent. Good. Hello. Good to see you, Radiance. Hello, Lisa. Hello. So good to see you. Don't you love void moons? Especially, yes, when you want to keep the course and under the radar. Exactly. I love using them for things that I'm like, it's okay if you don't open this email until later. I'm not trying to get like all extra noticed in your inbox right now. I'm just delivering this, and when you're ready to see it, you'll see it. Like scheduling today's conversation during a void moon, That's okay. It's all right if we have a small population during the live stream. This is going to be here later. And later it may blow up with lots of attention. Never know. Not my agenda to have it lots and lots and lots of energy or eyeballs on it. However, one of my biggest deal live streams from the pre-Pandy era, this would have been in like 2017, I think. I did a live stream that went to YouTube, Twitter via Periscope at the time, and Facebook Live all at the same time. And it hit something like 26,000 people simultaneously. And I was like, that's not my typical number. That's nowhere in the ballpark of where I usually land viewership wise. And it was a hot topic. It was a little dramatic. It was a little controversial, and it was a lot of energy around it. And it was very definitely not a void moon. And of course, I check. Even if I'm like, ooh, this looks like a spontaneous going live thing, I'm checking. And more importantly for me, now at this stage in my life, I find I can just kind of tell. I am Cancer stellium, including my Cancer Sun, Cancer Mercury, Cancer Mars, Cancer Midheaven. Got lots of Cancer up there at the top of my chart. And that means Moon as ruling planet of all of that energy. I do a pretty good job of noticing when the moon has kind of shifted energy. Okay, so here's what I want y'all to know. We have some really big void moons coming up. We're in one right now. I'm looking at my Aligned Hustle calendar specifically for places where it's so big, the void moon energy actually is marked with an exclamation point to be sure you know. Really check the timing, because if you're hoping to get in front of people, you're hoping to get their attention, you're hoping that this is a shift where you can make lots of money. I know people who have service jobs where you work on tips. You want to not have a shift during void moon, because if the entire shift is void moon, people aren't coming in and they are not ordering a lot and they're not leaving big tips, and it can really screw with your budget. So let's note for sure we have a big ass, and I've been calling them long ass void moons and big ass void moons. So I'm not sure what the official terminology is, but either long ass or long ass void moon or big ass void moon. Big ass is just such a great combo of sounds. Anyway, we have a long ass void moon on the 2nd of July, 2025, starting at 12:29 p.m. Pacific. And it is void all the way until 2:33 a.m. Wait for it, Friday, the 4th. And that's at Pacific time, 2:33 a.m., which means we have a Libra moon that starts up 2:17 p.m. Pacific on the 1st. And then after Libra moon does all her doings, she goes void in less than 24 hours of being in Libra and floats for nearly 2 days. That's a big ass void moon. But wait, we have it again on the other side of that weekend. On the 7th of July, we have Sagittarius moon. Starts at 3:06 p.m. Pacific on the 6th, Sunday. But on Monday, the 7th, Moon's Day, void moon begins at 2:29 p.m. Pacific. So again, less than 24 hours after the moon moves into Sagittarius, she's done. She got all her business taken care of, and now she's going to float all the way until 1:55 a.m. Pacific on Wednesday, the 9th of July. So it's like that Tuesday, the 8th, we didn't really get a Mars day. We got just a total float day. It's just that day didn't really happen. And so you're like, oh, I was looking forward to that Sagittarius moon, fire, 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 and Mars day, fire, 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 and that 6 numerology. It's such a great combination. It is. I'm live streaming that day, but it's a void moon. So it's one where high impact, maybe not. Going to be noticed, maybe not. And especially not for things that are the types of stuff that would be anything around the range of what we would expect a Sagittarius moon or even the Capricorn moon that's going into. And sometimes we want to specifically avoid doing things that are of the sign of the following moon. I'll get into that more in just a second. I want to give you just a couple more dates. We've got a big void moon, 21st to 22nd, which is also the day that we go from Cancer to Leo season. We also have a large void moon before the new moon in Leo on the 24th. So that one's on the 23rd, 24th. That one's pretty big. We have another one on the 30th to 31st of July. Pretty big. Y'all, but wait. In August, we have another of those officially long-ass void moons. It starts at 11:54 p.m. Pacific, so on the 10th of August, which is a Sunday, but it'll be in the wee hours Monday for those of you East Coast and otherwise not Pacific. And it is the entire day, Monday the 11th, void, until 3:33 a.m., love that, Pacific on the 12th, Tuesday the 12th of August. And then we will get our Aries moon. We have a big void moon on the 9th, a big void moon on the 15th into the 16th, a big void moon on the 20th. Y'all, so, oh my gosh, another one, the 26th into the 27th, the 29th into 30th. Y'all, so much void moon action in July and August, and even right now in June as we're having this conversation. But I promised I was going to share my screen, and then I haven't done it. Let me show you. I agree, Michelle. Right around the holiday, perfect for a mini vacay. Exactly. Yes. Yeah, EJ, absolutely. The cool little fun facts that we learn about who might have been using astrology in magical ways, and we didn't even know it. I know. I love it. Holly, I love them too. Hello, Day. It's so good to see you. Kathy says, knew this. Kelly says, I remember that story. Excellent. All right, let me show y'all. Let's do a little screen share over here. And I'm going to take you to Astro-Seek. Tell me if you can see my screen. I'm going to move it just a little bit to make sure it is in the frame here. There we go. All right. I am sharing my screen for Astro-Seek.com. So that is astro-seek.com. Oh, by the way, hang on. Let me talk about that. By the way, you will also find during void moon, you malaprops your words. You will say the wrong word, you will think you mean something, and you do mean something, but you say something completely different, and you won't even notice until later that you did it. And the cool part is, other people don't really notice that you got it wrong either. Again, void moons are just magical in so many ways when it comes to caring less. Big fan of caring less. There's a lot of caring a lot that we tend to do. It's not all that great for the nervous system, I gotta tell you. Okay, so here we go. At I keep saying at astro-seek.com, what we're gonna do is we're going to head over to the moon calendar, which is in this place right here in the bar. And at this bar, we are looking for the Void of Course Moon 2025. If you're watching this later, like 2026, that may have been changed to say Void of Course Moon 2026. But for now, we're going to Void of Course Moon 2025. Once this page loads in, the very, very, very first thing you want to do is set your local time, because it is automatically set to UT/GMT. So I'm going to change to my local time zone, and I'm going to put in here Santa Monica, and it's going to drop down, and I'm going to say, yes, indeed, this is the one I mean, and then I'm going to hit submit, and that is now going to change my Void of Course Moon calendar to my local time zone. So you do the same for yourself. Next, I want to make sure I'm including under aspects all 10 modern planets, Sun through Pluto. Now, you may be a purist for the traditional use of void moons, but if you're doing that, there's an entirely different definition for void moon under Hellenistic ancient astrology standards, and it is a little more strict. It has to be a very specific kind of aspect that counts, and so we have far fewer Hellenistic void moons, which makes them that much bigger a deal. So for me, I do like knowing when a void moon is actually a Hellenistic void moon, because it is a much bigger deal because there are so few of them. But for my purposes in my modern life, I go ahead for this and choose all 10 modern planets. And then I want this to be major aspects right here. You can also specifically set them to something you would like to test out. And then I want to change this from void of course periods only to the void of course ends by entering into the next sign. And the reason I want to change to that, and you see the page reloaded, is because it then gives me a nice little color shift in this table that helps me a great deal. So here's what I want you to notice. For the month of June, you can see, because that's where we are right now having this conversation, it is typical that after each sign that the moon is in, she goes void for some amount of time. And so what we have here is the date and the time, and this is using military time, and then we have the degree and the sign that the moon is in, what aspect was last made, and we can go visit graphics and interpretations tables of those things if we would like. But we're going to just stay on this table right here. And then in the shift to blue, from this regular gray to this light blue, we get, this is the last thing that happens before the void moon begins. Upon this aspect right here, we are in void moon. And you can see it even says here, very small and faint, void of course begins. Then it shifts, again, still in that blue part of the table, it shifts into the next sign at 0 degrees, 0 minutes. And it even says moon enters 0 degrees, Virgo, void of course ends. And so this right here tells you that this window right there between 1637 and 20, or what is that? 20, what is that called? 20 hours? 2000 hours? How do they say that? Dude, 8 o'clock, 9, 10, yes, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, yes, 8 o'clock p.m. Between this 4 o'clock, 4:37 and 8 o'clock p.m. I got to translate military time here. We are in void moon. So that's not even 4 hours. It's like 3.5 hours, not even, that we're in void moon here. But you'll see it happens every time we change signs of the moon. And it's a certain number of degrees, certain number of hours, minutes, and sometimes it's only a couple of minutes or even a couple of seconds. But when we get to where we are right now, having this conversation, we are the moon in Gemini, and we had a sextile to Saturn at 1 degree 36 minutes Gemini. Then we had a sextile to Neptune, and that happened at 2 degrees 8 minutes Gemini. And then we had a trine to Pluto, and that happened at 3 degrees 17 minutes Gemini. And then after this square to Mars at 3 degrees 22 minutes, so very, very early degrees Gemini, the moon was done. Her list of visits, her list of aspects, her assignments were all over. And starting on the 23rd of June at 1:25 a.m. Pacific, she entered void moon float time until tonight, June 24th at 8:44 p.m. Pacific, when she moves into Cancer. So that means from 3 degrees 22 minutes until 29 degrees 29 minutes of Gemini, there is nothing for the moon to do. That is a lot of real estate she is covering. So if I switch over to my chart wheel, we can see the moon right now is at 24 degrees 30 minutes. And she entered void, of course, way back here at 3 degrees. And 3 degrees and some minutes, she entered this void, of course, status and has been void all the way across Gemini and will be until she gets into Cancer. So the way to use this is create this calendar for yourself each month and do a quick little skim. And anytime you see the date change over here in the blue, you will know 23rd to 24th. You're like, okay, right there, I know we have entered a new day. It could be because one of the start moments of void moon is right before midnight, and then the void, of course, is over right after midnight, and it actually is a short void moon. But you can start by looking at, does the date change? Because if the date changes, we're talking about a long time. Or if you're ready to use the degrees, which is what I prefer, any time that the last thing the moon does before she changes signs or before she enters this void period that's blue on this calendar is in early degrees, you know she's going to travel a long way, void, of course. And that's how you can mark up your void moons. Super, super easy. And you can go all the way into the future. Like, look at this calendar. You can go all the way to 2099 if you would like. You can go all the way back to 1900 if you would like. You can look at all the void moons that have ever been and ever will be if you would like. You just navigate through, and if you want to just go to the near future, you can use this across the top to go to the years and the months like that. All right, 2000 hours, says my husband, the Marine. Thank you, my lover. Now, if you are more an apps person than a website person, and that's okay. I might be that person too. And you don't really want to go visit a website and dig through and sift through all of this information. You might want to go to this very, very ad happy website. It is lunarium.co.uk/apps/iLuna and grab the iLuna app. Big fan. Big fan. The iLuna app is a great way to know that the moon is going to be void of course on any given day, because this is what the app looks like. It gives us today is the day, the moon is currently waxing, the moon is in Capricorn until later when she goes void, and she goes void from this time on this day to this time on this day. And then also we've got the mansions of the moon if you are interested in that information as well. So you can then go through each day, or look at the month at a glance and see when the moon is going to be void, just with a quick, easy, non-overwhelming app. So this is for your lots of info and lots of nuance, and this is for your quick and dirty, I just want to check, could you please let me know how my moon is looking? Okay, so with that, I will come off shared screen and check on you. You have iLuna on your phone. It's great. Yay. That makes me so happy. Feels like the universe's way of helping us calm our nervous system and take breaks we all need. Yeah, I like that. I like the float time in general is yummy. Nervous system, more Mercury territory, but because the moon is here to help us feel safe, certainly part of how we have feelings of safety is that our nervous system is not sending us any kind of type communications. So sure, I'll go there with you. iLuna is my favorite app, says Michelle. Yeah, it's definitely one of my faves. Definitely one of my faves. Okay, so question about how you use void moon. If you are someone who already uses void moon, tell me, how do you use the void moon? And if you've not yet used void moons, but you plan on it now because you just got some great information on how to use it, tell me how you're going to use it. And then I'm going to go through and tell you the things that you want to generally avoid doing during each of the void moons as it goes from sign to sign to sign to sign, because there is a little quick and easy way to remember the kinds of things that are especially not favored during void moons. Let's see. Excellent. You learned it on my void moon blog. Michelle, that's awesome. Yes, Jackie, the same day Uranus moves into Gemini. That's going to be a biggie, right? Right. Ooh, Gemini is a sign that Uranus does the most in, it seems, for sure. Yep, on July 7th, we will have Uranus moving into Gemini for the first time since the last stage of being there, which was 1941, was when she started. Uranus, they, them pronouns, definitely. Uranus, they were in Gemini in 1941, starting in 1858, starting in 1774, starting in 1692. Oh, I don't know. All sorts of patterns I can track on that. You had taught us many moons ago to finish tasks under the moon we are under, but not publish. That is a beautiful way to interpret it. Thank you for that reminder, Kristen. Yeah. Definitely we want to what I prefer to use void moons for is everything that moon is already favored for. And yes, I agree with hold it maybe until after the moon is finished with void, of course, or go ahead and use it for publishing or getting it out in front of people with the knowledge that it's not going to necessarily hit with a splash, but it could have lots of great energy behind it that is not so urgent and not so agitating, which, as Kristen reminded us, is fantastic for nervous system regulation in general. I try to submit buyer repair requests during void moon so sellers think it's no big deal. Michelle, yes, that is brilliant real estate use of void moon. Love it. Absolutely genius. Yes, yes, yes. Casey says, I just submitted a bunch of job applications. Need to start checking those void moons. Yeah, Casey, definitely. Because one of the things that happens when we're submitting job applications is our application could go unnoticed. Or even if our job application does catch their eye, they may miss the thing in that application that we tried to highlight was the reason that we are such a good fit for that job. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Exactly. Yes, I agree. Golden nugget. Yoli, I had a question yesterday. Is this a time to plant seeds internally or the opposite? There's been a lot of brain activity for me, particularly at night. Not sure if it's related at all or not. Yoli, thank you for bringing this question over here. Y'all, I send out text messages through a Robot Bonnie, and then I follow up and am there after the Robot Bonnie does what can be Robot Bonnied. I then go through and reply to any questions that come up. And Yoli asked a great question in response to one of my Robot Bonnie text messages, which if you would like to text with me, you certainly may do that. I will see if I can find, what is my official number for text messaging? I know it's out there somewhere. It's a void moon. Of course, I don't have handy with me what it might be. Maybe somebody watching will be able to find what is that number or what is that link. But if not, I will put it in the description of this video later. Anyway, back to Yoli. So Yoli is, Yolanda specifically, asking about the intention setting that we're doing under this new moon in Cancer, which is the next sign moon moves into. She's currently void in Gemini. And yes, all new moons are a time to plant seeds, and we generally want to do it when the new moon has just enough light that we can start to see the soil. Right now, we're in what's called the balsamic period. We are in the darkest the moon gets. It is time when it is a sliver, and you can always tell we're there when we are in the sign right before the new moon. And since tomorrow's moon is Cancer, and we're currently in Cancer season, the sun moved into Cancer last week, we are very definitely getting this experience of the balsamic period, dark moon period. And if we plant seeds now, it's too dark, it's too soon. It is very definitely a time of we should be relaxing, resting, floating more like this void moon energy, and not really expecting planting or setting intentions, because there's just not enough of a sliver of light yet to know even what we're planting. But it's a good time to prune and get the soil ready for the kinds of seeds that we are going to plant under the new moon. So specifically with this Cancer new moon and planting the seeds of intention under that Cancer new moon, yes, all seed planting can be done internally, meaning what are the things that I want for myself? What are my private intentions? What are the seeds that I want to plant for things that are important to me and me alone? Absolutely. But / we always have a version of the sign that is expressive to the collective, that is something we want for the world at large. If you are feeling too activated, and if you're feeling like there's been a lot of brain chatter, and Yoli, it's not just you, all Gemini season, there's been so much activity, there has been so much stuff moving into the more active signs, the outer planets in particular, making shifts. You know, we had Neptune move over, we had Saturn move over, we've had a lot of activations. We had Jupiter finish up critical degree in Gemini. There was just a lot of chatty, big energy. You may find that starting with this new moon in Cancer, you really feel less of that constant activation of the mental stuff. That said, when Uranus moves into Gemini July 7th, it's going to kick back up again. That is a lot of frenetic energy of Uranus, and Gemini, of course, is a sign that is always thinking, always moving, always going, but what else, but what else, but what else. And Gemini is just a very active sign. So that can be part of what's going on for you. So while we're in this new moon in Cancer, what I recommend you do is make use of the quietness of Cancer, the stillness of that home space, and do that little, check in, go within. I know you know some tools from our work together in the dojo, that being able to center yourself, even just close your eyes, visualize turning within, feeling held, feeling smaller, feeling safe within that self-hug. All of that is good. Allow yourself to connect with the knowing that just because the moon has us feeling very sensitive about all the things doesn't mean we're responsible to feel all the things. And that can somehow disconnect the association with all that brain activity and all that chatter, and remind us that Cancer's in the gut. Cancer is in the womb. Cancer's in the breast. Cancer is very much about that nurturing energy, the vibe of mothering in all the best ways, that sense of connectedness with our ability to become a new generation and to have been past generations, and all those threads that connect us through all timelines and dimensions. And so what I would ask is maybe you do a little journaling as we are finishing up this Gemini moon, thanking Gemini, specifically Gemini season that we finished last week under the sun, and then also Gemini moon that we're in right now. And just thank you, Gemini, for all the activity, for all the chatter, for all the ideas, for all the yes and now we are going to shift into Cancer, where we don't do as much of the thinking and the chatter and the communicating and all the Mercury ruled stuff. We instead do the sensing, the gut instinct, the receiving, and that can be slower, that can be gooier, that can be more float related. And use these void moons to help you with that float. I think that'll help. I know you have big Aries energy in your chart, so already you're more activated by things like Gemini related stuff, because that is an also active sign. But see if you can use the square that your Aries has to this Cancer season that we're now in, and especially that new moon in Cancer, to plant some seeds around being more grounded and settled and connected at your gut rather than through all the mental flutter. Let's see if that helps. Okay, let me know. Yes, Yoli is great, or what I prefer. Okay, good. Yes, excellent. No, you can put the number in. Oh wait, depends. The number I type is the robot Bon. So apparently my number has been shared and it is the robot, or is it? I mean, I'll know. My chat will blow up if you shared I don't know. There's not 1,000 people watching, so we're okay. If you shared the number that ends in, it doesn't matter. I'm going to assume that you shared the actual robot bond number and not my personal number, but whatever. It's void moon, so nobody's going to notice if you ended up sharing my personal number. It's fine. You don't know. That's okay. It is totally fine. I will share it in the description later. Please do not stress. Void moon, we don't stress. Remember, it's exercise under careless. Excellent. Okay, so I promised you that I was going to go through the signs and tell you what you don't generally want to do. You have 3 numbers for me. I know for sure one of them is not me then, because I do not have 3 numbers. I'm going to go through each of the signs and share what it is under those void moons you want to avoid doing. Let's see. Kristen says, I also love void moon as a time to be extra caring for myself and others. Yep. Like it's time to enjoy who we are as beings living life. Yeah, remember with void moons in general, we are done with all the work. We are being reminded by the moon, which is the heavenly body closest in to us and our health and how we are emotionally tied to our physical being and our spiritual being. The moon is reminding us that it's not all work. Capitalism has us very well trained that work till you're dead. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Like it's, I'm just hustle culture. It's so gross. And Cancer specifically being opposite to Capricorn, which is the sign that has been co-opted into capitalism and hustle culture, but we're working on rehoming Capricorn into the sign that she really is meant to be. It's part of the revolution that's going on right now. The Cancer reminder is we must have sleep. We must have nourishment. We must have soaking in the tub. Y'all, yesterday was Moon's Day, and Monday is always Moon's Day, and I was in a Discord that is not the Chart Harmony Discord, but it is an Astro Discord. And the person who runs the Discord was asking, what is everybody doing for today, Moon's Day? And people were talking about the things that they were doing for comfort and for being held and all, and taking the day easy. And I said, I am slow rolling into this void moon. I love it so much on this Moon's Day. I am contemplating taking a bowl of ice cream to the bubble bath. And over the course of the day, as everybody shared whatever they were doing, it was decided that my solution for how to use Moon's Day was the correct one. Everyone needs to take a bowl of ice cream into the bubble bath, and that is how we moon. That is how we moon. We nap, we read a book, we rest, we replenish, we hydrate, we rehydrate. These are all things that we want to do in that energy. Yes. Oh, Holly, natal moon is in Capricorn, so you know it well. You know the push-pull of that. Moon says rest, and Capricorn says achieve. Give yourself lots of extra love and energy with that. Calm energy, sweet energy, caring energy, nourishing energy, not fight energy. Okay, so Aries moon. When the moon goes void while in Aries, we want to specifically avoid doing things that are more Taurus-like. So even though we might be feeling the urge to start doing things that are like hosting a dinner party or doing money stuff or manifestation work, we want to wait and hold off on that until the moon is actually all the way into Taurus. When the moon is void in Taurus, headed into Gemini, similarly, we want to avoid doing things that are more Gemini related. We want to avoid throwing ideas around, spitballing, writer's room, suggesting ideas or writing, doing work that is very Gemini and collaborative and thinking in its tone, like writing something and thinking, okay, well, I'll just hit send when we move into the Gemini moon. You're going to actually miss things under that void moon in Taurus that Gemini moon would have helped you catch. Under the void moon in Gemini, as we're heading into Cancer, which is what we're experiencing right now, we want to generally avoid doing things that we may feel tempted to do that are very Cancerian, and that is the stuff that I just talked about doing. But that is nurturing, mothering, being intuitive, connecting with the gut instinct, having your ice cream in the bubble bath. I'm never going to apologize for doing that ever, because I think there's always good time to do that, no matter what the woo weather says. In our Cancer void moon heading into Leo, you generally want to avoid doing things that help you become seen or that help you lead from the heart. You don't want to attempt to do brave things necessarily, because that void moon in Cancer is going to be extra not great at those Leo-like things. The Leo moon will help you get into that. But then once the Leo moon is void, of course, we want to avoid doing things that are more Virgo in nature. So again, here's a time when we don't want to do a lot of writing or a lot of thinking, a lot of words-related things because of the Mercury rulership of Virgo, because we're going to miss things. We're going to work on healing things that we get wrong, and those mistakes are going to be even less forgiving under that void moon while the moon is still in Leo. When the void moon is still in Virgo, heading into our Libra moon, so void of course moon in Virgo, we want to avoid doing things that involve a partner. We want to avoid doing things that involve communicating with a partner and finding balance and air signing things out, because we're just not going to be as great at it, and that teamwork is going to feel a little like butting heads, and we're going to be like, why is this happening? Because the moon is void heading into Libra. We're very definitely in a moon that doesn't understand how to get there and do those things yet. Let her float. Let her have that time off. Do not jump ahead. And I say this especially for those of us who get our woo weather early. We may be tempted to do things in void moon that we should just wait until the moon gets into that next sign. It's just a little bit that we have to wait. It's no big deal. Next up, when we are in a Libra moon void into Scorpio, we want to avoid doing things about transformation, sex, death, money, anything with the occult, anything that helps us purge stuff, getting to the bottom of things, doing research. All of that can wait until the moon moves into Scorpio. Under a Scorpio void moon heading into Sagittarius, we want to avoid doing things that Sagittarius champions, and that is being vocal, being experimental, being experiential, going out and having those experiences and taking risks and getting out into the world and speaking up and being a little loud and, again, brave. Maybe not so much during the void moon in Scorpio. When we're in Sagittarius moon, void moon going into Capricorn, we want to avoid doing things that involve systems or budgets or checklists or any kind of systems, especially around work. This is definitely float time. Definitely do not want to clock in and try and get the worky work stuff done when that void moon is in Sagittarius heading into the sign of Capricorn. When it is a Capricorn void moon heading into Aquarius, we want to avoid doing things with our activism, our community at large, anything that's innovative or revolutionary. These are things that are going to not get executed the way we want them to for the collective until the moon shifts into Aquarius. So just let those things go. And again, float. I know it's hard when the moon is in Capricorn to hear me when I say float, but seriously, consider it a form of rebellion. If you've not read the book How to Do Nothing by Jenny Odell, I recommend it. Go grab that. In general, go grab more books by people who are not cis straight white men, able-bodied, ableist possibly, depending on who they are. I looked at my bookcase, and I said this in the Bond Blast recently. I looked at my bookcase and I was like, wow, if I ever want to know what a straight white dude from the boomer generation thinks about anything, I got a bookcase full of books that will tell me all of that. How about anybody else? How about a voice of anybody else? Let's find out what that might be. Recommended. In general, that's a really good filter to use before buying your next book. Just something to think about. When the moon is in Sagittarius, no, we are in Capricorn, going void into Aquarius. We did that one. When the moon is in Aquarius, going void into Pisces, we want to avoid doing the more spiritual things. We want to avoid doing the more religious things. We may even want to avoid doing musical and artistic and creative things. And we want to watch how we are doing with any kind of drugs or interaction around dosage and things, because we can really misjudge that under the void moon that's going into Pisces, and we want to make sure that we don't get ourselves into an unhealthy situation. And then finally, when we are in a Pisces moon and it's gone void until it moves into Aries, we want to avoid starting things. We want to avoid taking this take charge energy of the Aries moon. We want to avoid jumping in on stuff and doing that whole fuck around and find out maybe. We want to just in general really use that float, especially with those water moons. When it's a water moon, void moon, my gosh, float, 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 float. Just really enjoy it, because the moon is doing enough and you are doing enough. Trust me, it's okay. You are safe. Hopefully this has been very helpful. Do you love it? Do you love it? Ice cream in the tub, right? Wow, incredible void moons under signs. Great, VO. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that validation, stamp of approval, and that you've enjoyed it. So don't die during Libra void moon. Yeah, that'd be great, Kelly. I mean, or do it, because no one will ever really know why you died. And boy, wouldn't that would be such a mystery that a Scorpio would love. I know, perverted. Any questions before we go? We're coming up on the hour. Thank you for joining me. I love these. I hope you love them too. My next live stream will be Tuesday, the 8th of July, during that big ass void moon. I don't know if I have a topic yet. I think I was going to do the body parts ruled by signs, but I think we may talk about Uranus and Gemini. I am doing the Use Your Moons live stream on July 17th. And then I am doing a live stream on the 25th of July. My August ones are August 5th. Use Your Moons on the 15th. And live streaming on the 27th of August. Y'all, go check BonnieGillespie.com/events if you want to keep up with all my live streams and Use Your Moons. And my new podcast, Melissa Has Questions. We will be putting up a new episode most likely today, tonight, tomorrow. Under the void moon, maybe I'll wait until the moon moves into Cancer. You'll find out, won't you? Your thoughts on performing rituals during void moon. Ooh, Michelle, love. Yes. Because, Michelle, rituals done under void moon are undertaken with the reverence of this is for me, even if it's something that we're doing for the world at large or the collective, or that we're trying to help put a bubble of protection around some folks. It is something that is very personal and very intimate, and I feel like the void moon almost creates a bubble of privacy. Because if we think about how the void moon makes it so our message doesn't always land, it doesn't always get noticed. I wouldn't worry about, oh, well, then this petition that I'm making or this sigil that I've built, this ritual that I'm engaging in is not going to get noticed by the spirits that be. I don't think void moon works that way. In my world, I'm actually more intimately connected with those kinds of energies at a time when the moon is not busy doing other things. For me personally. Certainly there are others who may feel differently on that, and that's cool. Go with your gut, because moon shit, always go with your gut. Good. Yes, Uranus and Gemini need a lot of need a lot of groundwork laid. I have a feeling, says Kelly. Okay, all right, I'll probably do that. Thank you so much, Bonnie. Can't wait till your next live. Love your energy hugs. Yes. Thank you for all this. We'll be rewinding later for full focus and more mapping. I've read both do and don't do, so I was curious. Yep. Of course. Look, if you want to find an opinion about astrology that goes in any direction, you can find it. You can find someone that says the exact opposite of everything that's been said astrologically out there somewhere. Not a problem. You will always be able to find something that backs you up, and you will be able to find something that completely disputes what you found. So I say, you know what works for you. And ultimately, isn't that why we study astrology? Isn't that why we do chart harmony? Because we want to have a bit of resonance with what it is that works for us. We want to feel more connected to the choices that we make and the things that we do. Okay, so once you've found the thing that resonates, why you got to go look for verification, validation? You trust yourself. It's your intention that always means so much more than the precision in your execution of the work. Always. Could talk astrology and woo for hours and just learning. Jackie, we had a Live Your Chart meeting on Friday. Was it Friday, y'all? It was. On the 20th. The topic was Jupiter and Cancer. The meeting went 4 hours and 15 minutes. I shit you not. We took one 7-minute break. Okay. All right. So that was a Jupiter size meeting. I could talk about it forever. I know. I'm never done talking astrology. I know. Yes. Okay. Like your perspective, I'm going to take your belief to the next level and say it will manifest in stealth. Exactly, Michelle. Take it. Yes, Donna. Amal joined late. Guess what? It's right. It's nighttime here, and I've been wondering, why am I feeling drained? But now I know it's void moon. Yeah, Amal, especially if you have the moon in your big 3 in your life car, void moons are going to be something you're quite sensitive to. And even if you don't have the moon in your big 3, if you don't have Cancer specifically as a sign in your big 3, the sign that the moon is void in is going to be one that you want to check what's in your life car, your big 3, because there's going to be sensitivity to that in your natal chart. Ritual during void question, answer resonates. VO, I love it. I love an answer that resonates. Fabulous. Yes, excellent. It was so long that I couldn't stay for the whole thing. Kathy, I couldn't stay for the whole thing, and yet I did. I know. I bless the like 5 of us that were left at the very end. I was like, I'm obsessed with us. I'm kind of obsessed that we have like stayed here this whole time. It's a lot. I don't go that long usually. This was a lot. Last Live Your Chart and the one before that, I think, were only an hour and like 15, 20, 25 minutes each. So this one definitely made up for those shorter ones. It is so Jupiter. Yeah, it is. I know. Yeah. So when by the way things run long, I go, okay, Jupiter, I hear you, I see you. You want to be seen? I got you. All right, beautiful people. Remember to use void moons to your advantage, but remember that the advantage is not capitalism advantage. It's not hustle culture advantage. It's energetic advantage. And whatever that energy needs to be for you, that's what you're going to go and get. Thank you for joining me for this chat. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for hitting thumbs up, subscribing, turning on the little bell notification, for letting people know this exists. I'm really enjoying bringing my YouTube channel back to life after it sat dormant for a while. It's been fun. Thank you for making me feel welcomed home. I really appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Mwah. Till then, take good care of yourself. Bye.